What a fun way to start a Tuesday morning. And I think it's official. The Toronto Blue Jays off-season now underway. I think you can say it.
Cheers to that.
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody, to the Walk-Off. I'm Scott Belford, joined, as always, by Adam Mack. And these are some of our fun moments throughout a season and off-season is when stuff happens, right?
Yes.
And big things are happening. Jose Berrios locked up by this Toronto Blue Jays front office for 7 years, $131 million. And for those of you keeping track of years and contracts on this team, this is now the most locked in man on this Jays roster, a Toronto Blue Jay until 2028.
Wow.
Buddy, it's pretty impressive that this front office pulled this off. Not every plan with multiple moving parts works out exactly how you want it to. Obviously, this is what the front office planned to do right from the beginning when they made this trade for Berrios at the trade deadline and shocked everyone, moving the Blue Jays' number one prospect and their number four prospect in Austin Martin and Semien Woods Richardson. And in a time in baseball when front offices don't move top 10 prospects, it was very surprising, shocking, if you will. And then there were all these rumors, right? The whispers that this front office wished to lock him up long term. That's one of the reasons why they went out and made this big splash at the trade deadline. But the truth is, Jose Berrios was traded by the Twins because he straight up said he wanted to go to free agency. The Twins could not extend him. 55 games with this Toronto Blue Jays team, and Jose Berrios changes his tune. At 27 years old, decides to lock in the prime of his career with this organization. And buddies, how exciting is that? Like, how exciting is that?
Look, if you had told me that. Now, I pretty famously had a pretty public panic attack when we traded away Austin Martin. And I was pretty fairly ridiculed for my overreaction and frustration with him getting traded. I think if you had told me at the time, if the headline read, Blue Jays acquire Berrios and sign him to a 7-year, $131 million extension, that probably would have took some of the sting off. I mean,
Of course it would have.
this is very reassuring.
And it was risky for them to take this route. Let's not act like there was zero risk involved here, but the fact they pulled it off and the way this breaks down too. So Jose Berrios was arbitration eligible for this year, so they would have had to work something out. He probably would have been locked in for around $6.5 million is what it looked like. So if you were to take this year, it looks like they're going to pay him $11 million this year and then $20 million a year for the next 6 after that. So that breaks down to 131 over 7 years. You start looking at comparables, stuff like Zach Wheeler, 5 years, 140 mil, and man, they got a deal. And if Berrios does wind up looking like he did at the end of the season, of course, he had some struggles there, a couple starts after he joined the Jays, and Pete Walker got him to stop putting his arms over his head and shortened up his windup, and all of a sudden, the guy looked like the best pitcher on this Jays team.
Really did.
If they manage to lock up an ace for $20 million a year, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily what Berrios is, even if he's just locked in as the number 2 or 3 at $20 million, that's still pretty darn good. But if he can actually get that bump and be that guy we saw in September, wow. So impressive that they pulled this off.
So, two things I want to get to. The fact that he signed, he had no more guaranteed money. Like going into arbitration, doesn't get paid until games are played.
Yep.
Regardless of what the arbitration number is, whether it's 4 million, 6 million, or anything in between. This offseason, all December long, a potential extended lockout before games are even played again. Right?
Almost a guaranteed lockout, yes.
Do you think that played a factor in the Jays being able to sign him? I don't think we have the full details of the contract, but perhaps a signing bonus up front of, hey, 131 million, we'll give you $10 million today. That'll get you through a lockout.
It will be interesting to see what the details all fall out and shake out as. Of course, it had something to do with it. I think there were a lot of moving factors, a lot of reasons for him to decide that this is what he wished to do. But I think the biggest one is he just likes this team. He fits in with this team. They're a fun bunch. They're a young bunch. And if you're going to just take a look at what they did in 2021 and expect for them to continue to move forward, this is going to be a contending team for at least the next half a decade.
Yeah. Okay, let's compare this to Robbie Ray, right? I think that's the most obvious comparison, right? Blue Jay, free agent, expecting a big deal, top of the rotation guy. The latest report that I had seen was that he was seeking a deal around 6 years, 140 million.
Yes. I heard the same thing, which is, again, very comparable to that Zach Wheeler deal in Philadelphia.
So, with that in mind, if we're getting a younger guy for less money and more years, what a bargain.
What a bargain.
I think the season we saw from Robbie Ray last year was the best season he'll ever have.
I think it was a career year for him, and I think you're probably right. I do think Robbie Ray is for real, and I do too.
I do too. I think he's going to be an ace on somebody's staff. I don't know if he'll be a Cy Young winner, and let's be honest.
Yes.
For most Cy Young winners, that's a career year.
Absolutely.
So I'm not shit talking Robbie Ray, and I would welcome him back with open arms. Do you know how many guys
win multiple Cy Youngs?
Exactly.
Almost nobody.
Almost nobody. So I do think he's at his absolute peak. And I think Berrios is still on the upward trajectory. I don't know if Berrios is going to be a Cy Young winner. I can't reasonably project him to say that he's going to be a Cy Young winner or whatever. But
well, dust off your crystal ball here, Adam. What are you doing?
I do want to say this, that over the course of the next 7 years, I do think he will be a consideration multiple times.
And honestly, man, it says a lot about Pete Walker, too. The fact that he made some adjustments in this man's...
Yeah, in his delivery.
In his delivery, in the way he pitches, and that it worked out so well. The trust that Berrios has to have to look at this organization and be like, you know what? My prime is yours. Let's do it. So let's get into some of the repercussions of this, okay? Because I know that there are a lot of fans that are thinking, all right, they made their splash. Does that mean that they're done with free agency? I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way that they're done with free agency. I mean, you read the rumors. The rumors are coming out from guys like Passan and John Heyman right now that the Jays are still big time in this free agent pitching market. They're, of course, talking to their former Jays, Robbie Ray, going to be the Cy Young winner. They're talking to Steven Matz still. Rumors are they're big in on Kevin Gausman. And you know what? If they don't land a top end of the rotation pitcher, I think the trade market is going to allow them to do something like that. The Marlins are looking for stuff that fit well with the Jays, and they've got a surplus of young, controllable starting arms.
Absolutely.
The Oakland Athletics have been stated that they're stripping down their budget once again, doing the Oakland retool we see every 3 years. There's stuff that's going to happen. There's no way you lock a guy up like Berrios and then you call it a day.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see some major moves by this front office before December 1st, before this lockdown happens.
Hey, look, just before you hopped on, I was in the live chat here. I mean, we're still live. We've got 47 votes on this poll. Are you happy with the Berrios contract? 96% of voters are happy. 4% are probably Yankees fans.
Or Twins fans.
Yeah, exactly. I forget where I was going with that. Totally lost my train of thought. Must have been a lie.
Well, either way, I do think that this team is going to continue to bolster this lineup, and the front office is not done.
This was the projection. Was a trade. You mentioned trading for starting pitcher. All offseason we've been talking about Jose Ramirez. What about a trade that involves Jose Ramirez and Shane Bieber, sorry.
Throw in Justin.
Throw in Justin, too. He'll perform at the World Series for us.
Bring him back to Canada.
Hey, but J-Ram and Bieber. Look at that.
If we can get Shane Bieber and Jose Ramirez.
I mean, the price tag would be astronomical to make that happen.
Gabriel Moreno's involved in that trade, let's face it. There's no way you get Bieber and Ramirez and not need to give up Moreno.
Agreed.
But maybe, I mean, who knows, man? At this point, you look at this lineup, and you got to be excited about it. You need to – I think they're going to make some big splashes. Things to keep in mind, both Teo and Vlad arbitration eligible this year, and they're kind of projected to make in that $20 million range this year. That's how big their 2021 seasons were. And Teo needs to be locked up fairly quickly here, too. He's a free agent in 2023. So there is still some internal stuff to look after, but it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
Here's a question. If Vladdy's going to get $20 million in arbitration this year anyways, let's just fucking give him 20 years.
Yeah.
Just sign him today then.
Yeah.
Like if we're not gonna get him at like $5 million in arbitration, and we're gonna have to pay him fair market value.
Yeah.
Then let's say, hey Vladdy, you're not gonna get a dime of that if there's a lockout. How's the last, $600,000 you've been living off of? Let's just sign the deal today, and here's a nice little signing bonus for you.
Would you sign right now Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 15 years, $400 million? You're like, yes. You didn't even need to hear the numbers.
Don't need to hear the numbers. If it means we're signing him right now, yes. Absolutely,
awesome.
Yes.
I love it. Well, did you have anything to kind of wrap this up here, and we'll get into the mailbag?
No, you know what? I just want to mention Noah Syndergaard signed with the Angels. 1-year deal for $21 million.
Great signing by the Angels. And there was no way Thor was going to get a multi-year deal until he proved that he could pitch 1 year healthy. Even though he is an elite talent, absolutely is going to get his multi-year deal in the 2022 free agency if he can somewhat put a reasonably healthy season together. But he has been a Band-Aid. Unfortunately, it's really sad to see the way this kid's career has gone. He just has not been able to stay on the field. I think he's pitched 2 healthy seasons since 2013.
Yeah.
I mean, all the best to him, though. And great move by the Angels, who desperately need pitching.
Absolutely. All right, so let's wrap it up there then on the Berrios news. We're sitting down with Arden Zwelling of Sportsnet on Thursday.
Yes.
To talk in depth about that and the rest of the Blue Jays offseason plans.
We were going to talk to him at 2:30 Eastern time, and then we got bumped when this news broke. He's like, I got to go on Sportsnet. We're getting bumped for Sportsnet. So it
that's goes fair. Sportsnet and then us. So, I mean, that's fair considering Rogers owns Sportsnet. Otherwise, I'm sure it would be us first, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so let's wrap it up there. We'll say goodbye to you, and then we'll jump right in on the live here with the mailbag.
Perfect. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Again, Arden Zwelling on Thursday. Cheers.